What is a Brown? Why are the Cavs not called the Cleveland LeBrons? Where did the Indians get their completely non-controversial name? Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this channel. If this is your first time watching, why don't you start by hitting that subscribe button? I try and post 2 new videos every week. And also, if you're wondering why there's an infinite void of time and space behind me, well, we recently had to move from our apartment, and you can check all that out in the vlog, but I'm shooting here in the studio until we figure that whole thing out. Anyway, if you know me in person, or if you've watched this channel for long enough, then you probably know that I'm a huge Cleveland sports fan. I used to always be wearing my Cleveland Browns hat everywhere I went, and then I left it in a restaurant. But a lot of people always ask me, what do the team names mean? Especially, what is a Brown? So I figured I'd answer that question, as well as where did all the other sports teams in Cleveland get their name? So let's start with the most successful of the Cleveland sports, and that's the Cleveland Browns.
What?
Now you probably think I'm joking if you're a younger Cleveland sports fan, or if you've only been a fan since they came back in 1999. But even though the Cleveland Indians have a slightly higher win percentage than the Browns have the most championships.
54, 55, 64. You can find the trophy on the old age shore. Now the orange and brown coming back for more. Here we go again.
Yeah, all those championships came before the Super Bowl era, but the championship's the championship, and we'll take what we can here in Cleveland. The first pro football team in Cleveland was actually called the Cleveland Indians, not to get confused with the baseball team. Then there were the Cleveland Bulldogs, the Cleveland Rams, who moved to LA, and the Cleveland Tigers. But none of those really matter because now we have the Browns. Now, most people in Cleveland will tell you that the Browns got their name from the head coach, Paul Brown, who's the winningest coach in the program's history. But that's actually kind of debated. Others say that it was named after the boxer Joe Louis, who was nicknamed the Brown Bomber. What we do know is that the team owner at the time, Mickey McBride, put on a fan contest in 1945, and the most popular submission was the Browns. Rumor has it that Paul Brown actually didn't want the team to be called the Browns, and he wanted it to be called the Cleveland Panthers. But a local businessman at the time had the rights to the Cleveland Panthers, and he wouldn't let the Browns have it. Now, if you're a Browns fan, you've probably also seen this little guy, the Brownie Elf. And so where did that come from? Actually, that's something that's been around since long before the Cleveland Browns were a thing. This goes all the way back to, I think it's Scottish mythology, where there's these little brownie elves that will come out and help people if they do their chores and reward them. So like with a lot of the other name suggestions, there was a fan contest to see what the logo should be for the Browns, and people chose the brownie elf. Now, when Art Modell became the owner of the Browns, he didn't like the brownie elf, and so he just completely got rid of it. And then he didn't like the Browns, and he got rid of them too.
The Browns are indeed coming to Baltimore.
But when the Browns returned in 1999, the brownie elf came back with it, and I like it. I think it kind of represents the old school Browns, the winning style, and so I hope that it's here to stay. Next up, we've got the Cleveland Indians. Like the Browns, the tribe was not the first pro team of its kind in Cleveland. First was the Cleveland Blues. Now, if that's not an accurate name for a Cleveland sports team, then I don't know what is. But after the Cleveland Blues came the Cleveland Lakeshores. And then after they realized that that's probably the dumbest name on the face of the planet for a team, they changed it to the Cleveland Bluebirds. But the players hated the name, and they tried to change it to the Cleveland Broncos, but that didn't catch on. And that's when they acquired a player by the name of Napoleon Lajoie. Napoleon Lajoie, or Nap for short, was a great player, and he was so good that they decided to name the team after him. And so the baseball team in Cleveland was named the Cleveland Naps. Now, apparently several years later, Nap just wasn't vibing with the management of the team, and so, plus he was getting old, and so he ended up moving on, and so Cleveland needed a new name, and so they chose the Cleveland Indians. And a lot of people say that this name came from a nickname the team had years before. And they had a Native American named Louis Sockalexis. And writers and sports historians are torn as to whether this name was given as a tribute to him or if it was derogatory in fashion. I'll let you be the judge of that. Last but not least, we've got the Cleveland LeBrons. I mean, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm just saying, if the Cleveland Naps can name their team after their best player and Cleveland Browns were named after a person, might as well just go 3 for 3.
Cleveland! This is for you! Oh!
Anyway, the Cavs naming history is probably the least exciting of the big 3 sports in Cleveland. It was just the result of a poll conducted in the Cleveland Plain Dealer in 1970. Jerry Tomko, the guy who suggested the Cavaliers, he won the contest. He wrote, "Cavaliers represent a group of daring, fearless men who whose life pact was to never surrender, no matter what the odds. Actually, there's a really interesting article on Jerry Tomko and how he named the team and how the team finally recognized him just back about 8 or 9 years ago. And I'll link to that article in the description down below if that sounds interesting to you. Other finalists in that poll were the Cleveland Jays, the Cleveland Foresters, the Cleveland Towers, and the Cleveland Presidents. I'm so glad that I don't have to root for a team called the Cleveland Presidents. What would that even look like? I guess those big president mascot races at baseball games.
Teddy is running up into second place. Abe has still got the lead. The winner is gonna be the Great Emancipator.
I know there's more sports teams in Cleveland. There's the Cleveland Gladiators, who are the indoor football team. There's the Cleveland Monsters, who used to be the Lake Erie Monsters. And the Browns, the Indians, and the Cavs are definitely the 3 biggest sports. So thanks for tuning into this video. I'm a huge Cleveland sports fan at heart, and so I wanted to make this video for a little while. So if you like it, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, but also I'm interested in what your favorite sports team is. So whether you're from Cleveland or not, leave me a comment letting me know who your favorite sports team is, the team that you root for the hardest. And as always, as long as I don't get sucked into this infinite void behind me, I'll see you on another video.